my journey with the environment actually started when I was very young. I was fortunate to have very loving parents, and my mother grew up on a farm, so I used to help her plant flowers. I remember some of my first memories in 3 or 4 years old, but I was really enthralled with nature. I think a lot of young children are. The book Silent Spring had a big effect on me. That Silent Spring came out 1962, and it was about pesticides and pollutions, and that's what that actually was a ground truthing for how I saw the world. But here was a scientific book about pesticides and the poisons that we have. So all through my life I had that study. As a younger person, I taught it in school. I actually taught climate change in my classes in the late 60s. And then I went on to do major expeditions, and all the time being aware of the changing climate early on. But I became an eyewitness of the change in the Arctic and the polar regions. This is way before we start to see any changes now. I think everybody has their own eyewitness story of the climate. They've seen it. We've seen it firsthand.
So for me, the direction I've been following is food, because our food system is broken, and my mission is to fix it by redefining our understanding of what food can be, and promoting a globally responsible food culture. We have a perception here in the United States that insects as food is a pretty gross idea. It's a misconception, but I understand it. It's how we've been raised. Although over 2 billion people around the world are eating insects. And I think my goal is to try to figure out how to be a champion for insect as food consumption, and also plant-based foods and upcycled foods. How can we think differently? Because I'm sure you're very well aware, but the food we eat, the choices we make have a huge impact on the planet.
I've been there all along. And for myself, it's more than just a care or a concern. It's a moral imperative. I see it, the loss of life, the loss of endangered species. And we're causing all these problems through our, a lack of understanding. Let's say it's basically ignorance, but it's lack of our understanding that we're just blindly destroying the earth. But if we see it as a moral imperative, it actually is part of us. And when you wake up in the morning, it's still there. And if you have this deep concern, you naturally start connecting with people. You start doing things that you think are important. For example, what you're doing with insects. This is a very important piece of the future food chain. And I'm sure that once you saw this as a moral imperative and you found your calling in crickets, actually hearing the crickets, and your story is remarkable. But for you, it's a moral imperative too. I can't speak for you, but I'm sure all the work that you're doing is, it's this moral imperative. And the moral imperative is really we have to change our diet in such a way. I mean, we don't have to make major changes. We just have to do things a lot smarter.
Once you decide to pay attention and look, and it's profound, and you go, whoa, wait, now recycling, and what else can I do? What else can I do? And you feel a bit overwhelmed because you're like, I'm one person.
It's amazing the power of one person. I mean, when I first came down to the city, Minneapolis 20 years ago, I was a lone voice for climate change. But what I did is I almost immediately started connecting with people that had maybe my concerns, or I started surrounding myself with people that were educated maybe on the topic. When we crossed Antarctica.
Can you remind me what year that was?
That was 1990.
1990.
Yeah, 1990. And I traveled with an international team of 6 people. But we had a saying amongst ourselves, if we were just one straw in the wind, we'd be blown down. But we were six straws, and we were strong. And we were able to actually survive these incredible challenges and storms that we had. So I think as a lone person, we have a lot of power amongst ourselves, but you have to connect with like-minded people first. in terms of the challenge of insects, people have a affinity, oh, eating insects, I'll never do that. I think too, to look at the audience, I think the younger people are totally receptive to this.
Mhm.
And it's great that some adults are going to maybe change or at least try it.
Right.
I mean, you could challenge in various ways of just try it once. Because
You
we have
tried
that.
it.
I tried it, and all of a sudden, when I tried it, all these misconceptions just evaporated.
If anyone's heart is in the right place to want to like the cricket, it's you. But you were a little apprehensive. You were kind of
course.
like, yeah, maybe I'll try that in a little bit. And I think when I mentioned to you, it's like a land shrimp.
Yeah.
You said, oh, well, that
Yeah.
helps me change my mind a little bit. And then you tried
That's
the
great.
cookie,
Yeah,
and you
the
said it was
shrimp
good.
yeah, I would. The shrimp is what got me
Mhm.
because that was it, because we eat shrimps and we can eat crickets. I mean, it just bridged that. It was the shrimp
Right.
was,
Yeah.
and I can't think of anything catchier than comparing it to a shrimp, because we all know what a shrimp is.
Crickets, they take up less space, they take up less water. They like to be packed in. They want to be in a huddle. So, and they taste great. They have a very mild flavor. So I have every intention of making sure people get over the hump.
Yeah. It's just get over it. Have a cookie. When you're
Yes.
doing it, it's like you're creating a paradigm,
Right.
and don't forget that. That's paradigms are. Oh God, to be a leader in a paradigm shift is that's cutting sharp edge.
Right.
We need to get reduce the carbon significantly. Our
Right.
food chain is really responsible for a lot of the climate change, and our sources of protein, the corporate farm protein is just horrible. It's ruining. It's poisoning our water, our air, our bodies. But that's all going to change, and but it's flipping that switch from the dark into the light, and it's just very close by. We don't have 10 years. We don't even have 1 year. We only have right now, and we got to change it now. The new direction the new life, the wonderful life that we're going to lead that is pure and clean, and for our environment and our kids, and without the cancers and everything horrible. I really like what you're doing. I mean, you're an explorer. You're on the new frontier, and it's really. I'm an entrepreneur, and I really respect what you're doing and your passion, and you're going to crack it too. You'll see.